taking time for us once again is State Representative Raymond Crews. Hey, Mr. Raymond, thanks for taking time for us. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks for
having me. So the final vote, I guess, was what, 76 to whatever, and it passed. It's the temporary third of a penny sales tax, and now all the state's financial woes are solved. If it sounded like I said that with a
fixed it, come on home. I'll put a steak on for you.
Congratulations. Now, you were, in fact, and you've heard me refer to you, Mr. Seabaugh and Ms. Horton previously as the Trinity of No, and I mean that in the best way. Tell everybody why you voted no.
Well, I can tell you, just looking at historical records of what our government size is now, it's grown about 20%. Our state effort, that means the state dollars that we put towards government programs, whatever, has grown about 20% in just the last 8 years. And that's as a percentage of our growth, our gross state product for the state. So basically the economy is not growing as fast as the government. And that's troubling to me. And all the constituents here, not all of them, but a large majority say enough is enough. Let's see what we can do to reduce the size of government. And I actually don't think there has to be a huge reduction. There just has to be some attempts to limit any fraud going on, any waste, that type of stuff. If we address that and get some transparency, I think we can do some wonders with the state without collecting any more money from the taxpayers.
And yet, Jay Darden last hour, Commissioner of Administration Darden, said that the bill that was passed against your vote, that was passed yesterday in the House, is not enough. It's got to be beefed up. We need more. That even the third of a penny for 5 years is not enough.
You know what? I'd encourage you someday to ask him how much is enough. That's the problem. The people that want more don't have a limit, and that's why we as the taxpayers have to say, you know what, it's our money. There is a limit, and we feel that now. And we may not have a number in mind as, specific taxpayers, but we know this feels like too much. We don't like it. We're not getting the return on our investment that we want.
Let me ask you this. Sometimes I'm stupid, Raymond, so follow me.
I don't follow you being stupid at all, Erin.
Okay.
You do a great job there.
Jay Darden wants to say, if y'all send him the budget with $300 million in cuts, y'all are going to tell y'all $300 million that in increases and then $300 million to cut, that y'all are going to tell the governor where the cuts need to come from. I was always under the impression that the legislature is going to pass a budget that's going to say, okay, DHH has X amount of dollars, Department of Labor has X amount of dollars, and you and your experts, your department heads, figure out where this money needs to be spent.
In other words, pardon me,
am I wrong?
He's the guy. What Mr. J said is basically he's trying to lay the we're going to have to keep people out of nursing homes threat in your lap.
Yeah, and cut SNAP benefits.
Well, that makes it a whole lot easier, doesn't it, if you can blame someone else? Well, I'll tell you, they've waffled back and forth through the years on who should be identifying where the money goes. And the problem is, you don't want to identify anything as governor because you want to lay it on someone else's shoulders. So he uses the threats of certain things closing when it benefits him, but then when it comes time to actually do it, he says, well, it's our fault. We need to identify where the cuts are going to go. So it just goes back and forth. It's a matter of political expediency is what it is.
Okay, Raymond. Thomas Carmody, several other Republicans, their arms got twisted to vote for this. Were they promised something? What kind of compromise did the GOP leaders put on the table and try to get you to go along with?
Well, the thing is, I think many of them were very good-hearted in this, and I applaud them for considering that. The problem is there's a continual effort on the Republican side to make a compromise with no corresponding movement on the administration side. That's the real problem. And I think those that have voted no have said, you know what, there is no compromise coming from the other side. So how do you expect us to negotiate if you won't even come to the table? And that's perpetual. They just say we need more money, instead of saying, listen, how can we meet in the middle? There is no meeting in the middle. I feel like the Republicans generally go, here is the line, and here's where we're going to hold it. And then there's no capitulation on the other side. It's just, no, we're not doing that. We need even more.
Mr. Raymond, everybody, I would assume, every member of the House of Representatives, all of the yay votes, all of the nay votes, had to know that the governor was going to look at this third of a penny and go, well, that's not enough. I need more. If that's the case, then what was the point of of part of the process is the term you hear all the time. Is that basically what this was?
Well, I tell you, I hope the people that voted for it can hold the line. The thing is, we were promised that if this passes and it changes form in the Senate and more money's added, then it will not be concurred on later. That's basically the idea out there is we're going to pass it this way. This is it. You don't get any more. So if it comes back with more money than that, then it's expected that it'll be rejected.
So if it goes to a half a penny, the House is going to say no.
Or if the temporary tag, pardon me,
correct.
Raymond, or if the temporary tag is removed, is that a deal breaker too?
I believe that was also part of it. I don't remember them specifically talking about that thing. They mentioned 5 years because some bond ratings and whatnot, but they specifically rejected an amendment in the House that if it was a half penny, no deal.
And then what? And then what? Back in another special session?
That's the only way I can see out. Yesterday we tried to pass a budget, so at least we had something to work from, but even that didn't work. We tried to override the governor's veto, but that didn't get enough votes. So, it's just, unfortunately, it's going to be a lot more convoluted and complicated than it should have been. If a budget would have been approved, then we could work from that and fill the gaps with any extra revenue, any savings, whatever. But we're redoing the whole thing now, which is just disappointing at best.
Raymond, you are not devoid of upbeat, bright optimism, are you?
Well, I tell you what I am optimistic as is we're continually rejecting more and more taxes. This is one, I admit, but at least they've held fast on not giving the entire amount. And I've got to give some kudos for that, holding the line there, and I just hope and pray that this 1/3 penny is all that makes it, if it even does make it. We can't just continue to grow government unabated.
Is there enough resistance on the Senate side to turn down a half a penny permanent?
Well, that's a good question. I can't answer that. I hope so, but I really can't answer that.